Welcome to Bits and Bytes Gaming. I'm Pascal Takaya, and this is Instant Replay, Episode 8. While most of the world knows Indigo Prophecy under its original name, Fahrenheit, I figured since I live in the US, and this is the name I knew the game by both times I've played it, that I'd use its North American name for this instant replay. When Indigo Prophecy released in 2005, the developers, Quantic Dream, were still relatively unknown and new to the gaming scene, having only released one title previously. Although Indigo Prophecy was critically and commercially successful, it seems like Quantic Dream didn't truly become a household name until 5 years later, with the release of 2010's Heavy Rain. Or maybe it just seems like that to me, since 5 years is a long time, and my awareness of the gaming industry has grown a lot in the meantime. In any case, Quantic Dream made headlines with Heavy Rain, but all its seeds were sown at the beginning of the century with Indigo Prophecy. Much like its successor, Indigo Prophecy is a paranormal thriller. The story centers around Lucas Kane, who finds himself at the center of a brutal murder in a New York diner one snowy night. Right from the beginning, the player sees that Lucas is the killer, although it's readily apparent that he acted not of his own accord. Lucas's plight upon regaining his senses and finding himself bathed in blood, a mutilated corpse at his feet, the murder weapon still in his hands, becomes finding out what caused him to act the way he did, and why he has absolutely no recollection of the events leading up to the brutal attack. The game regularly switches its point of view from Lucas to the two detectives assigned to investigate the slaying, Carla Valenti and Tyler Miles. Although the player generally knows more than both Lucas or Carla and Tyler, it's still intriguing to take a step back from the traditional good guy, bad guy routine. Designer David Cage and his team at Quantic Dream were successful at not creating allegiances between players and characters.
Don't move!
While you help Lucas cover his tracks and track down the group behind the killings, you're also helping the police to establish a trail of evidence and follow it to confront and capture him.
Find evidence of my guilt and link me up to the murder in the restaurant. Now I'll never find out what really happened. As far as the rest of the world is concerned, I'm just a murderer.
Indigo Prophecy combines a murder mystery with supernatural and occult themes, like voodoo, mind control, and precognition. Gameplay-wise, the game combines classic adventure game design with what basically amounts to rhythm sections. There's plenty of dialogue, and throughout the game, players must uncover clues, collect certain items, perform actions, and explore their environment.
Are you Agatha?
Why do you want to talk to Agatha?
Father Marcus Kane sent me here. I have a problem. I need to talk to her about it.
A problem? And who on earth doesn't have problems?
During several sequences, such as fights or Lucas's precognitive visions, on-screen sequences of timed button presses must be entered in a certain time limit to complete the scene successfully. Sometimes these sections serve to gain additional information or are just for added flavor, but they can also appear during life and death moments requiring mastery to continue the game. There's also tons of additional atmospheric content. oftentimes you'll be able to engage in activities that don't yield any useful new information, and aren't even integral to the plot, but add optional avenues to experience, tailored to your gameplay style. Some are minor things like keeping up with your email account or catching creepy reflections in the bathroom mirror that appear out of nowhere, like any self-respecting horror movie would have. Other times, major decisions are thrust upon you, and your choices will often have a direct and heavy impact on the story. A kid breaks through the ice into a frozen lake. Do you steer clear, lest you get noticed by passing police? Or do you rush to the boy's aid, exposing yourself to the policeman's scrutiny?
I've got to stop him.
Any choice you make can have a potentially deep impact on the rest of the game. And failing, meaning you lose the game, is always an instant possibility.
What am I going to do? There he is. He's lost consciousness. Quick, I've got to go back up before I run out of air.
To further add some nuances to the idea of creating your own adventure, each of the playable characters has a mental health meter, which will increase or decrease due to specific actions over the course of the game. Letting the meter drop too low will result in the game ending. Different characters will take different actions in this case, but it is even possible for a character to commit suicide if their mental well-being decreases to a critical low.
I thought you were in a hurry.
Hey, I always got 2 minutes for you, babe.
Only 2 minutes?
Unlike the murder mystery Heavy Rain that would follow a few years later, Indigo Prophecy takes the story of the murder investigation and quickly escalates it. As Lucas digs deeper into the circumstances surrounding the murder, a sinister plot to control the universe is unveiled, as powerful new players emerge from the shadows throughout the game. Ultimately, the game features multiple endings, all depending on the actions during the final scenes of the game.
It's been a while.
And some of the supporting
2 years.
characters also
So tell me
receive
what's
varying
happened,
endings
Lucas.
to their individual
I've
story
killed
arcs
Marcus.
based on the player's choices.
It happened at a restaurant last night. It's like I was possessed, in a sort of trance, like I was a puppet on a string. I saw what I was doing, but I was powerless to stop it.
My God. I can't believe this, Lucas. Tell me that it wasn't you. You're not capable of something like that.
Indigo Prophecy prototyped the control scheme later used in Heavy Rain, of having various possible actions being displayed on screen depending on the character's relative position in the environment. For example, standing in his kitchen, Lucas is able to do several things, including checking the fridge, which will give him more options once opened, looking into cabinets, or drawing a glass of water from the faucet. Each action is initiated via a specific movement of the controller's thumbstick, often mimicking the actual movement that would be required in real life.
It's completely
For
idiotic.
example,
But it
sliding
makes me
open a
think.
closet door would take a left to right movement, while spinning a yo-yo would only work after inputting a complicated twisting of the thumbstick. Even though the commands were more intuitive and easier to place in Heavy Rain, they still work well enough in Indigo Prophecy. Indigo's soundtrack also deserves a special mention, as it screams of the Hollywood design mentality used throughout the rest of the game. At various points, music from artists such as Teddy Pendergrass and Ben E. King is used in the game, as well as plenty of Theory of a Dead Man. In fact, the playlist on Lucas's stereo in his apartment features Theory of a Dead Man exclusively.
Friday's when you left me, so I drank myself to sleep. And Sunday is when I wake up, not to remember a thing.
All in all, if for some reason you haven't heard of Indigo Prophecy before now, it's certainly still worth acquiring. Fans of Quantic Dream's subsequent effort should be most interested where many of the design ideas came from, but the game also tells a worthwhile mystery all on its own. However, it is worth pointing out that North American censors decided that some content in the game, namely the scenes depicting nudity and sexual adult themes, needed to be edited. As a result, they were summarily removed from the North American version of the game, with the exception of one scene near the end that was too important to the plot to be cut completely, but which was nonetheless shortened.
Her mind's made up, the love is gone. We think someone's trying to show us a sign that even if we thought it would last.
Thanks for joining me in a close look back at one of the few console adventure games that actually worked. Make sure to check back in our next episode when we'll pick up another golden oldie to recap for you. Meanwhile, leave us your feedback at bnbgaming.com, look us up on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for the latest in video game news and reviews. On behalf of myself and the staff here at the B&B offices, thanks for joining us and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.